This lesson is about something called the Null Factor Law. That word should be semi-familiar because last Friday you just did a test call on factorization. The whole reason why the timeline is written in this particular order is I show you how to factorize so you can use factorized things for quadratics. So can I ask you, can you think of these situations? If I know 2 times by a equals 0. If I know 2 times by a equals 0, what must a be? Good. The only way that is going to be true, 2 times by a is equal to 0, because I know 2 is 2, the only way I'm going to get that answer is if a is 0. Now let's switch it around. If I know that b times by 5, I stuffed that up, it should be b, I'll fix it now, live. If I know b times by 5 is equal to 0, b must be what? 0. But if a times by b equals 0, do you agree that either of them could be 0? We don't know for sure, right? They could both be 0. We don't know, but a could be 0 or b could be 0. So this idea that we just went through with these examples is known as Null Factor Law. So this could go on your cheat sheet. You can try to remember it. If I have two numbers, a times by b equals 0, then a could be 0 or b could be 0. Can you get that down, please, for your cheat sheet or your notes? Can you see how this is another example of us having two possible answers? That's the step up that you've got. So just get that box down for Null Factor Law. If a times by b equals 0, then either a could be 0 or b could also be 0. Let's go away. Why is that useful? Because we sometimes have quadratic equations that are factorized, meaning they're in brackets. What was factorization? Putting the expression back into brackets. Because brackets group things up, the contents of the brackets are like the a and b in Null Factor Law. So, for example, I want to find what x is using Null Factor Law here. What's the sign in algebra that's between the 2x and the brackets? Times. There's a times there, I just don't write it. So I'll write it in for your benefit. I just gave you a rule that says if a times by b equals 0, either a could be 0 or b could be 0. What's my a in this 2x? Could be 0. So the way that you would write your working out would be, so 2x could be 0. What's b in this question? Where's b under? Good. And what's in the brackets? X take 4. So 2x is equal to 0 or x take 4 equals 0. See how there's up 2 pathways of 2 possible answers now? What's this 2 doing to x here? Timesing by 2. What's the opposite of timesing by 2? Dividing by 2. If I divide 0 by 2, x is still going to be 0. So that is one of my answers. X could be 0. But here, what's the opposite of taking 4 from something? So what could x be here? 4. So again, if that annoys you that we have multiple answers, that's okay. It's not going to change anything. There's multiple answers here. I'll prove to you why there's multiple answers. If I put this x is 0 back into the equation, what's 2 times by 0? 0. What's anything times by 0? So is that a true statement? If I put x is equal to 0 into this equation? What if I put x is equal to 4 into the equation? So if I put 4 into the 2x, 2 times by 4 is 8. But what is 4 take 4? No? 0. And what's 0 times by anything?
0.
Is that what it equals? See how both of these possible answers make the OG thing true. That's why you have multiple possible solutions. So I'll give you some time. Can you get that example down, please?
Alright, and then next table of 4. Any of you first one you answer this table then? Okay. Doesn't matter, there's no judgment. Pick on the back. What's your least favorite letter?
Looking at this one, I think that's it. What's the sign between those brackets? Times. So in this situation, what is my A? X plus 3 is on the left, so that's my A. Times by. What's my B in this situation? 2x take 5. So we have the situation that you had null factor law. I've got two things times by each other equals 0. So according to null factor law, either A could be 0 or B could be 0. So your working out could be like this. So x plus 3 could equal 0. Or, what would I write for my or? What's the other thing that could equal 0 in this situation? 2x what? These aren't done yet. I don't know what x is just yet. I need to get rid of adding 3. What is the opposite of adding 3 to something? Minusing. So this top one is going to be x is equal to negative 3. And this bottom one, what are the options here? There's 2 steps here. What's the opposite of taking 5? Plusing 5. So you're going to have 2x is equal to positive 5. But x isn't by itself yet. What's the opposite of timesing something by 2? So if I divide both sides by 2, that's going to cancel. X is going to be 5 over 2, which is 2.5. Why do we have 2 answers? You don't have to go back and show me that it's right, but I just want to prove to you that this isn't BS. It's all true statements, okay? Why does this work? Well, if x is equal to take 3, and I put it here, what's negative 3 add 3 going to give you? 0, and 0 times by anything, doesn't matter what's in here, the answer is going to be 0. True statement, it works. Let's try this one. If I did x is equal to 2.5, yeah, this is going to give you 5.5 here. Mr. T, it's not working. Well, if I put 2.5 here, what's 2 lots of 2.5? 5. And what's 5? Take away 5. And what's 0 times by whatever the hell is in this? Is that a true statement now? So can you see that there's 2 possible answers at this level now? We're not in year 9 anymore. Can you get that example down, please? And your homework and now. I think it's 10B. I don't remember what exercises it was. Let me check on my... I'll stop the video.